my friends. I am so missing each and every one of you. I love you so much, and I'm so sad that I can't be there to see you every week. It makes my heart so sad. But I'm so happy that I get to share story time with y'all this week. And so what I'm going to be talking about, I know that in church we've been talking about worship, right? At least in my class we were talking about worship, why we worship, different ways we can worship. And so this story is another form of worship, and I think you're really going to like it because I have my little brother here helping me out today, and we're going to do something really cool. So this story is called Extravagant Worship in my Bible. It's in Luke chapter 7, and I'm going to read it real quick. So afterward, a Jewish religious leader named Simon asked Jesus to his home for dinner. And Jesus accepted the invitation. So Simon was a really important guy to the Jewish people. He was a religious leader, and he was very important. When he went to Simon's home, Jesus took his place at Simon's table. Now, in the neighborhood, there was this woman who was known as a sinner, and she was known to be a prostitute. When she heard about Jesus being in Simon's house, she took an exquisite flask. Right here I have my exquisite flask. It's not made of alabaster like the one in this story, but it was still very fancy. So she took an exquisite alabaster flask and she filled it with the most expensive perfume. And so I don't have perfume either, but what I do have is this vegetable oil. So I have my flask and I have my expensive perfume oil. And she went right into the home of the Jewish leader, knelt down at the feet of Jesus in front of all the guests. So this lady, when you're kneeling in front of someone, that means that you're showing them respect, right? And so this lady went into the home of this Simon guy, this important religious leader. And the people didn't really like this lady because she was sinning a lot, right? And so it would have been kind of weird for this lady to just go into Simon's house and to just kneel down at Jesus' feet, but that's what she did. So, broken and weeping, she covered his feet with the tears that fell from her face. So this lady was kneeling at Jesus' feet and she was crying in front of him. And her tears were going on his feet. And so she kept crying and drying his feet with her long hair. And over she kissed Jesus' feet. This lady, she is kissing Jesus' feet. And let me tell you, some of y'all are pretty smart, so you probably already know this. But back in the day, when they were walking the streets, and they didn't have fancy shoes like we do, most of them just had sandals. And so the place where they are, it's very sandy and very dirty, and you can imagine there were probably a lot of animals there too. And so, we know what happens, right? So animals eat, and then all their food has to leave them somehow. And so these people are walking the streets, and Jesus is one of those people, and so this was normal. But their feet were probably pretty dirty and pretty stinky. And so Simon didn't let Jesus wash his feet when he came in, or he didn't have a servant wash Jesus' feet for him, which was what they normally did. They would normally sit and they would normally have someone wash your feet for you because your feet were going to be pretty dirty. And so that didn't happen for Jesus. The Simon didn't let Jesus wash his feet. And so this lady recognized Jesus and she said, "That's the Messiah." Right? Because this is Easter week, and so Easter is on Sunday, and I know we talked about Palm Sunday yesterday, and so this lady said, "This is the Messiah, this is the Christ. I'm gonna honor him, and I'm gonna worship him by getting the most expensive jar that I have, and the most expensive oil that I can afford, and I'm gonna wash Jesus' feet with it." And so that's what she did. So Jesus said, "Simon, I have a word for you." And he said, "Go ahead, teacher." And she said, it's a story about two men who were deeply in debt. And one owed the bank $100,000. That's a lot of money. The other owed $10,000. And it was obvious that neither of them would be able to repay their debts. And the kind banker graciously wrote off the debts and forgave them after all that they owed. And Jesus said, "Simon, which one do you think loved the banker more?" And Simon said, "Well, the one who owed $100,000, because that's a lot more money." And Jesus was like, "You are right." And so Jesus pretty much said, "You think this woman has probably done a lot more sinful things than you did, but her sins are forgiven just like yours. And so she is showing me just how much she loves me by giving me the most expensive things. And she is just worshiping me with every single penny that she has. And she's just humbling herself by kneeling in front of me and kissing my dirty feet. And she's wiping my feet off with her own hair. And she just loves me so much that she's doing that. And so I am going to demonstrate for you what this lady probably did. And so here is my jar, and it's got a little opening here. So I am going to, oh, I don't know if you can see it. Here are my brother's feet. We're gonna pretend these are Jesus's feet. And so I'm gonna take my oil and I'm gonna pour it on Jesus's feet, just like the lady in the story would have. So that's what she did. She poured all of her expensive perfume in that expensive jar, and she put it all over his feet. And then my brother's feet are kind of nasty too, because he's been playing outside. But anyway, so she washed his feet to make them all nice and clean, all nice and clean. And she even kissed his feet. Can I kiss your feet? He said no. I'll go, we're gonna kiss his feet. Kiss his feet. And then my hair is up, and then she washed off his feet. She dried them off with her own hair. We're gonna pretend that's my hair. And that's what she did. So I don't know if you've ever thought about worshiping by cleaning someone's feet with oil or perfume, but that's what that lady did, because worship sometimes is just giving everything that you have to someone that you really, really love and really, really respect. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day. You have a good night. I hope you are getting ready for Easter and learning all about what that means and celebrating the resurrection of Jesus. And I can't wait to see you again, hopefully really, really soon. Bye.